Hello, everyone. I am going to wait a bit. So we're going to give it 3 minutes, wait till 6:30 for people to join. And then we are going to start. Welcome to the Kickstarter launch live stream. Hi, everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to the Kickstarter launch live stream. Let me know where you're joining from. I'm just checking that we are actually live on YouTube. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. I just need to make sure that you can hear me okay. We'll just wait a few minutes until 6:30 and then we can start. Hi, everyone. Okay. I just double checked that we are actually live on YouTube and that the audio is working, because there was one time that I went live and on YouTube I did the whole live stream. I think it was almost an hour, only for me to realize when I put the replay on that there was no sound. There was no sound the entire live stream. So I had to obviously do that again. So every time I go live now, I have to absolutely check that you can hear me. Hi, everyone. Don't worry, we haven't started. We're going to wait till 6:30. Let me know where you are joining in from. Welcome to the Whispers of Promise and Glory Kickstarter launch live stream. Let me know where you're joining from. And let me know if you can hear and see me okay. Thank you so much for joining in. Okay. Okay, so hi Brittany from the USA. Thanks, girl. I really, really appreciate you joining. Thank you so much. Especially because we're usually on different time zones. So let me know what time is it for you there. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. We will just wait just a few more minutes. Just give it a bit of time for people to join. Sometimes it can take a while before we start. And whilst we're waiting for people, if you have any questions about a Kickstarter before I sort of like go into the whole process, I'm going to show you guys what the campaign looks like before we actually go live. This is going to be a chat about the Kickstarter. If you have any questions at all, whether it's about writing, about being an author, about the actual story, the actual book, Whispers of Promise and Glory, or you have questions about the Kickstarter itself, if there's something that you're not clear about the way it works, I'm going to go through the campaign with you guys like step by step anyway. But if you have any burning questions or anything you're not sure about, you're not clear about, please make sure to ask, and then I will answer your questions as we go along. So just let me know if you have any questions. So 6:31, let's just wait for maybe 2 extra minutes and then we are going to start. Hey Naz, hi, this is my fellow London babe. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining in. And let's just say 1 more minute and then we will start. again, please, if you've got any questions, please don't forget to ask, and then we will crack on. Okay. Okay, just a few more seconds and we'll start. Thank you girls for joining early, by the way. It's so nice to see you for joining the live stream early. Okay, 6:33. So we've waited for a few minutes. All right. We'll just wait for people to jump in on the live stream when they're able to. So, like I said, welcome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Whispers of Promise and Glory Kickstarter launch live stream. This is the first time I'm doing this, but I'm hoping that this would be the first of many times because, you know, this is an experience that I would want to do again, even though it's been very stressful. Planning and leading up to this launch, but it's been quite rewarding as well, and I hope that it will continue to be rewarding even as we launch in less than 30 minutes. But I thought it'd be nice to come in here and just have a chat with you guys, and answer some of your questions, and then I'll show you guys what the campaign actually looks like before we go live together. So the book we're talking about here is Whispers of Promise and Glory. It is my Christian coming of age, no spice romance novel. If you're not familiar with the term no spice, it's basically a bookish term, a bookish community term that lets you know that there aren't any explicit sex scenes in the book. Yes, I know that you would automatically think that, okay, if it's a Christian book, why would there be, you know, explicit sex scenes in there, or, you know, explicit language or whatever. I think nowadays you just have to be clear. So that's why it's called, it's, you know, no spice romance. It is set in my home country, Cameroon. And like I said, it's a coming of age romance novel, but it does have sort of literary fiction undertones in there because they're quite deep themes that the book explores. The main character is struggling with grief. Like, you know, if you've read the blurb, it's in the description. So if you can go and read the full blurb, she loses her father. She's dealing with grief in the book. And then also the onset of a civil war, and then just life's hardships, her mother's maltreatment. All of that is in the blurb, by the way. So I'm not spoiling anything for anybody. But you can see that there are quite deep themes that are explored in this book. So yeah, but it is a romance. There is a romance story in there. There's a sweet love story in there. It's just that you guys should be aware that the themes are tackled quite complex themes in this book. I have been working on this book for 8 years. This idea first came to me in 2018. And that was 2 years after the civil unrest started in Cameroon, my home country. There is actually a civil war going on right now, which was one of the things that inspired the book. When God gave me the idea for the book, I just knew that I wanted to write about what the realities of the civilians in Cameroon and what they're going through and what they're dealing with, what that looks like for an everyday person, especially a young person with dreams, you know, with aspirations, and a Christian as well. How can you reconcile, you know, trusting God, trusting in His goodness, trusting in His sovereignty and His love when you're literally living in, you know, fear and all of that kind of, you know, just in that kind of situation. Yeah, so I had a lot of fun writing this book. It only took me 8 years because there was a long break. I finished the first draft in 2020, October, but then I didn't pick it up again until last year. Because I had to publish other books. I feel that the distance that I had from the manuscript was very, very well needed because I had to basically grow as a person. My character and everything had to grow, and there were particular things I needed to understand about myself, about God, about the story, so that I could come back and make the story much better and much stronger. So, yeah, that's a little brief sort of overview of my process writing this book. Again, like I said, if you guys have any questions at all, please do let me know. So if there aren't any questions, I am going to share my screen so that you guys can see what the Kickstarter campaign is looking like at the moment. So I'm going to share my screen in a minute so that you guys can see what the Kickstarter campaign is looking like. I want to launch. I know I said the launch is at 7 p.m., but if I can successfully show you guys go through the whole campaign. If you have any questions, please do ask me. We could probably launch maybe a few minutes before 7, because if I meet any hiccups, like if there's any issues, because this is the first time I'm doing this, right? I have seen other people launch their campaigns, and I know what to expect, but in case we meet any hiccups, hopefully we'll be able to sort that out before the campaign goes live at 7. Okay, right. I'm going to share my screen, and can you guys let me know if you can see my screen? I think you should be able to see it. But yeah, let me know if you can see it, or if you can't see it, do let me know. But this is what the campaign is looking like. So I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of a preview of what the campaign looks like. I did embed a video into it. It's a 2-minute video. I think we have time, so I'm just going to play it quickly for you guys, and you just let me know if you can hear it.
Hi, my name is Joan Mbola, and I'm the author of Whispers of Promise and Glory, a Christian coming-of-age no-spice romance novel that is set in my home country, Cameroon. Are you an avid reader of Christian fiction and you love to read about characters that look like me, aka multicultural characters? Do you love African literature but wish for hope-filled stories that move your heart and point to the light and goodness of God in our broken world? What about stories that don't shy away from deep and complex themes while showcasing God-honoring romance? Well, listen up, because I've got good news for you. Whispers of Promise and Glory follows Priscilla Ekema, a young aspiring lawyer whose dreams are threatened by life's hardships and the onset of a civil war. As her hope fades, she begins to question her faith and the whispers of God's providence that she was raised to believe in. The story is set against the backdrop of the ongoing armed conflict in Cameroon, but it still points to the perfect love of our sovereign God who always wins. If you enjoy stories of perseverance, resilience, and hope, then this story is for you. For this Kickstarter campaign, you get the chance to pre-order and get early access to the special edition ebooks, the special edition paperbacks, and the special edition hardcovers. They all have full character art illustrations, custom chapter headers and scene breaks, a Cameroonian meal recipe, the book's playlist, an exclusive digitally annotated bonus chapter from the male main character's point of view, forced edges for the paperbacks, and the gorgeous sprayed edges for the hardcovers. Oh, and did I mention that you get to choose between these two covers? I'm doing this Kickstarter campaign because I want to create special editions and shine the light on Christian African literature. I'll rely heavily on your support to bring this campaign to life. So please check out the campaign and all the exclusive goodies that are up for grabs. You can now read the first chapter of the book on my website if you'd like to get a feel for the story. Thank you so much for your support, and God bless you.
Okay, so that is what the campaign video looks like. Just to say that if you want to read the first chapter of the book, the link should be in the description. The link should be in the description, so you can go ahead and read the first chapter to get a feel for the story. and I'm going to show you guys the rest of the campaign. So we are not live yet, so you can't see this when you actually click on the link right now. I'm just showing you the behind the scenes of what things are looking like. So there's a bit of about the introduction. I managed to put some gifs into the campaign. I don't know if you'd be able to see them properly with my screen share, but I put some gifs in there just to show people a little bit of the special features of the hardcover special editions. And then there's a little bit there about the book, so you have all the different tropes there. It's kind of difficult because I, as an author, um, I don't, I don't write according to tropes. So I don't think of tropes and then write a story. I write the story and then I say, okay, what sort of tropes are in the story that I can use to market? So because the story is not like your typical romance, like I said, it's heavy on the literary fiction and coming of age side of things. It was kind of difficult to sort of like think of tropes. But anyway, these are more sort of like themes that I would say you can look forward to. There's a small town setting, found family vibes, love in the background of war. I don't know if that's a trope or whatever, but trusting God for peace and chaos, the social political commentary, and hope and resilience. The need to highlight the bit about hope and resilience, because when I talk about all of these themes, it sounds very heavy and very dark, but I promise you, my books are not meant to plunge readers into darkness. They are meant to point readers to the light and goodness of God, always, 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 always. But I always want to showcase the reality of life and what people go through, really. So yeah, that is the blurb. But like I said, that's in the description, so you can read that if you haven't seen it already. That's a little bit of the sprayed edges, the hardcovers. And then there's the trigger warning. Now, with the trigger warning, I know that some readers don't like to read trigger warnings. I like to put it at the beginning of my book. And if you don't like to read it, obviously you can always turn the page and flip through if you don't want to read the trigger warnings. Some readers consider it as spoilers, but I like to leave it there just in case, people want to know about what they would be found in the book. So I'm not going to read the trigger warnings here, but if you want to know about what the trigger warnings are, obviously you can, when the campaign launches, you can go and read it for yourself and see what the trigger warning is. And like I said, obviously the first chapter, the link to that is in my description. I've also linked that in the campaign as well, so you can always click the link and then you can go and read the first chapter. It is on my website. These are just a few comments that my beta readers said about the book when they did the early reading of the story earlier this year. I think it was, or was it last year? I can't even remember. But that's what they said about the book. Obviously, the book specs, it's a Christian coming of age with a sweet, no spice romance. It is a standalone book. It's third person. It's written in third person past tense. There's 3 parts in the book. The paperback size is 5.25 by 8 inches, and the paperback length is 512 pages. The hardcover size is 6 by 9 inches, and the hardcover length is 470 pages. Obviously, I don't know if you guys care about this, all this information, but I just thought I'll include that there. Then the special editions, obviously there's a special edition ebook, special edition, you've got all the different sort of options there, or special features there for the ebook. It has the full page illustrations, custom chapter headers and scene breaks, exclusive bonus chapter from the main character's point of view, so that's digitally annotated by me. It has a Cameroonian meal recipe, the book's playlist, and then it's going to be digitally signed by me. So I'm going to include a digital signature in the book, in all of the books. And obviously these are the paperbacks. You've got those forced edges there as you saw in the video, and this is what the inside of the paperbacks look like. Again, you get 2 cover options. So you will fill out a survey at the end of the campaign to choose which cover you want. So you don't have to decide now. At the end of the campaign, you will be able to decide which cover you want, but obviously have a think about it. But you will only make that decision once the campaign is over. So don't worry about that if you haven't decided yet. And then for the hardcover, again, you also have 2 cover options, sprayed edges and then you've got the colored end papers as well. and then all the other things included. So this is a YouTube video that's on my channel. It's literally the video, 2 videos ago. I literally went through the special editions in detail and showcased the special features. So if you want to have a bigger look into what it looks like, then you can go and watch that video. And the characters, basically, the characters, the first person is Priscilla Ekema. Like I said, she is, so there's a lot of characters in this book, a lot of important characters, but the two main characters are Priscilla and Emeka, and we do get their point of views at some point in the story. So Priscilla is a young girl who is, like I said here, on a mission to become a voice for the voiceless in her community. She's an aspiring lawyer. She's the only child and she's a daddy's girl. She's also very caring. She loves journaling. And this story follows her journey of navigating love, loss, and a civil war as she tries to achieve her dreams against overwhelming odds. So the story basically is about her, but Emeka comes into the picture as well. So that's the character art for Emeka. He is the love interest. He's an aspiring mechanical engineer. He walks into Priscilla's life when she least expects it. And even though Priscilla is initially skeptical about his romantic feelings towards her, she quickly realizes how intentional and trustworthy Emeka is. And then their journeys become intertwined in such a way that only God could have orchestrated. I love their love story so much. It is sweet. It's filled with so many challenges, so many ups and downs, of course, but it does have a happily ever after. So if you want to see how they meet, what sort of journey God takes them, both of them through, then obviously you have to read the book. So why this story matters? This story is basically so close to my heart. This story is so close to my heart. Like I said, it is set in my home country, Cameroon, and like I mentioned earlier when I was talking about my process for writing this book, I had to publish this book in 2026. I couldn't wait another year. That's why I'm publishing this book in the middle of the series that I started last year. Remember, I published the first book in my new series last year, Love Scribbles and Other Things. That's the first book in the Love and Other Things series. Rather than publishing the other 2 books, I had to pause that series and publish this because 2026 marks 10 years since the Anglophone crisis began in Cameroon. And I was like, 10 years, it's been a really long time. I'm just going to use that to launch this book. And there's another thing that I want to launch as well with this book, which I'm going to be announcing later. So make sure you follow me on my socials and things like that. So yeah, I didn't want this year to pass me by without publishing the story. I think it's time. But I just pray that, you would be comforted, and that you will get the message of hope in the story, basically. Now the rewards. This is the most fun part about it, I guess. You get an early ebook. So this is a special edition ebook. You get early access to the special edition ebook. You get your name in the acknowledgements, and then you get access to all the unlocked digital stretch goals. So if you're not familiar, stretch goals is basically rewards that the backers will get once we hit like another goal. So basically, you've got the base funding goal for this campaign, which is £500. Once we hit that goal, the campaign has been funded. Okay, because Kickstarter is an all or nothing platform. So basically, if we don't hit that £500, you don't get charged. I don't get any money. But that's how it works. The campaign has successfully funded when we hit the £500, but that's just the floor. Okay, it's not the ceiling. So once we hit another goal, a higher goal, we will get a reward, and you hit another goal, you get a reward. So basically, there's digital stretch goals and there's physical stretch goals, and I'll talk about the stretch goals as we go further along. But basically, if you pledge for the ebook only, you also have access to all the unlocked stretch goals. When I say unlocked, it basically means all the goals that we meet or we hit, you will be able to get those rewards as well. And then you've got the ebook and the digital swag. So you either have the choice of ebook only or the ebook and digital swag. The ebooks only comes with the green cover, so you don't have the choice for the ebook. It will only be the green cover for the ebook. The digital swag, you've got all of this stuff here. You can read about it more when you go on the campaign page. Then you've got the paperback only tier, where you get a choice to choose between the two covers, and then you will get the ebook as well. So from the ebook tier and upwards, everybody there will get an ebook. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. So you will get an ebook as well as the paperback. And then you've got the paperback and the physical swag. You've got this tier as well. And then you've got the hardcover only tier, and then the hardcover and physical swag tier. And then from here on, you've got the book boxes. So the book boxes are meant to be like an immersive experience, right? It's supposed to help you to sort of engage your senses and to really bring the story, like bring you right into the pages of this book. All the items for this book box were carefully selected by me, and hopefully it will be able to bring the story alive for you and engage your senses. And yeah, it will be like sort of like a reader experience for you once you get it. But anyway, you've got the paperback book box and the hardcover book box. So there's a paperback book box for you, and those are all the items that are included. And then you've got the hardcover book box, and those are all the items that are included. So that's basically all the tiers. And then in terms of add-ons are basically anything that you can add, like an extra stuff that you can add to your pledge. You can add to whatever you've already chosen. I've got digitally signed copies of my backlist titles. So you've got the Sovereign Love ebook box set, where you can get all the 4 books of the Sovereign Love series together. And then you've got the Love Scribbles and Other Things digitally signed, ebooks as well. Then you can also add an extra paperback or a hardcover. So for example, if you want to get another copy for your friend, a family member, or gift for someone, you want to get an extra copy, you can add an extra copy of a paperback or an extra copy of a hardcover. Or if you can't choose between the 2 covers and you want to have both, then yeah, you can choose one, and then you can add an extra copy of the other cover, basically. And then the last 2 add-ons are author appearances. You can have a virtual author appearance. Basically, if you have a book club, podcast, YouTube channel, all of those things that I could feature in, you can add that as well to your pledge. And you've got a physical author appearance as well. You can also add that to your pledge. Now, the stretch goals, I haven't actually put the actual number that we need to hit, but I have put the rewards. So we've got 5 rewards at the moment. I can add stretch goals, don't worry, and I can remove some and move them around. So these are not set in stone, but these are the ones that I've come up with at the moment. The first one is the personalized notes from the author. Then you've got behind the scenes author commentary for all backers. You've got extra die-cut character art stickers for all swag tiers. You've got a backer-only live stream and Q&A with the author, and then you've got an audio book for all backers as well. So yeah, we have all these exciting stretch goals to hit if we unlock them. And then why Kickstarter? This is just a spiel of why I'm doing this. If you follow me on social media, then you would have known why I'm doing this. So again, how it works, you just choose the reward tier you want. You can choose whatever add-ons you'd like, or you just skip the add-ons. You don't need to have to add the add-ons. And then you confirm your pledge on the last page, and then you confirm it. But like I said, you will not be charged now. You will only be charged if we reach the £500, and also if and at the end of the campaign, so literally July 31st when the campaign ends. Then the Kickstarter will give you about 5 to 7 days to pay. That's how long they would take to process all the payments and things like that. And then I'll receive the funds 2 weeks after that. And then I'll be able to send out the backer survey, where again, you tell me which cover you want. If you chose a paperback or hardcover, you tell me what email address you want the ebook sent to, and things like that. And then that's when the real work starts for me, because then I'll start ordering the books, the merch, supplies, things like that. It takes a long time to fulfill, but we'll get there by God's grace. And then the team is basically me and my awesome editor, Michaela Bush. The cover illustrator and designer is Karel Ngwesan, and then the character art illustrator is Quadri Inde. And then shipping, right? So shipping, these are the countries that shipping is open. That I'm going to be doing shipping for: US, UK, Canada, Australia, South Africa, and the European Union. The European Union is literally, the France and Germany and Denmark and, all of those ones. But if you try to pledge and your country is not listed, can you please send me an email, and then I will add your country. I'll calculate the shipping cost and add your country. So just because I'm doing these countries doesn't mean I can't do the others. I'm not making any money off the shipping, prices. Shipping is what it is. Obviously I've tried to make it as low as possible. I've made decisions that should make shipping cost less for you, the backer, but you just know that I'm in the UK, and to ship to other countries obviously is going to cost a bit. So you will see what the shipping is at the time of your pledge. So, it's not something you're going to pay later. So just you know, bear that in mind. But one thing that you should know is that Kickstarter has a pledge over time new payment plan that they have. So if your pledge sums up to £100 or $125, you can split it into 3 equal payments. So you don't have to pay it at once. You can decide whether you want to do this. So you do the first part at the end of the campaign, the second part the following month, and then the third part the month after. So that's a really good sort of plan that you can do if you're going to choose something that is going to cost £100 or more. So that's something to think about. And then this is a bit about the project timeline, just like a timeline of things, how I think the things are going to play out. My hope is that I should get all the books shipped out and sent to you by the end of September, because the public release is October 10th. Okay, so after the campaign, obviously you have to fill out the surveys. There's just some stuff here about refunds, replacements. You can read all of that when the campaign goes live. And then I just have to say that to the best of my knowledge, no AI was used in the creation of this project. I wrote every word myself. I hired a human editor. The character illustrations and cover design were all done by human artists. And if we meet the audiobook stretch goal, I will only use human narrators. Okay. Now we are going to try to go live. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing for a bit. And don't worry, I see your question. Brittany, I'm going to answer your question in a bit. But we are running out of time, so we need to go live. So let me share my screen again. So we're going to go live together. Share. I hope you guys can see it. So I'm going to click I'm ready to launch. I really hope that there's not going to be any problems. And then I'm going to click I've read these details. So all that says that your launch date and time, determine how much time you have to reach your goal. If you launch now, you have until Friday 31st. Yeah, so we're going to launch. We have until Friday the 31st of July at 7 p.m. BST to raise £500. The funding is all or nothing. If you reach your funding goal, you must complete your project and fulfill each reward. Yes, I know that. So I've read all these details. And then we're going to click launch project. Oh my days. It says drum roll. Oh my gosh, it's loading. And we're live, guys. We're actually live. Oh my days. We are actually live. Okay. We are live. Right. Okay. The project is live. The campaign is live. So if you click the link in the description, you should be able to go to this page. And when you go to this page, you should be able to come through. So you can see the campaign, which is all the stuff that we've gone through. Then you have the rewards area right here. So if you click on the rewards, then you should be able to pick whichever reward you want. And then you should be able to, to back. So basically, if you're part of my newsletter, I'd have to say, if you're part of my newsletter, please go and check. The newsletter, the email should have gone out like right now. The email should have gone out right now. So don't go and back yet. Go and check the newsletter email. So go and check the email I have sent to you, which has gone live now because I have received the email. There are two tiers that I've discounted for you guys. Two tiers that I've discounted for you guys. The first tier is the hardcover and physical swag. So the hardcover plus physical swag tier. It's an early bird. So this one, as you can see, hardcover plus swag, early bird VIP. So you get £5 off that tier, and then the second tier that I've discounted for you guys is the hardcover book box tier. I think, where is it now? Oh yes, there it is. Hardcover book box tier. You get £10 off that tier. So yeah. So again, only the people on my newsletter will have access to this. Please, mind you, this will close in 24 hours. So between now and tomorrow at 7 p.m., you can need to check it out and see if that's something that you would be, if that's something that you would want to do, or you'd want to be part of, because yeah, because that's going to be gone. You won't be able to access that by tomorrow 7 p.m. So another thing that I wanted to mention is that once you pledge, basically you choose a tier, you're not locked in, okay? You can always cancel the pledge if you don't want to anymore, if it's coming towards the end of the campaign and you realize, oh, actually, I don't think that I don't think I can afford this anymore. That's absolutely fine. You can always cancel your pledge. You don't have to you're not bound to it, by the way. And then if you choose a particular pledge, so for example, you choose an ebook, and then you realize, oh, actually, I really want the paperback, or I really want the hardcover, I don't want the ebook anymore, you can always change your pledge. You can upgrade to a higher tier if you want, or downgrade if you want. So you're not locked in. That's one thing that you need to remember, that you are not locked in. So if you want to upgrade or downgrade or cancel altogether, you can always do that. So you've got until the end of the campaign to actually to cancel your pledge or update or things like that. And then once the money is collected, obviously at the end of the campaign, obviously you won't be able to get any refunds anymore once the money has been collected, because I would then have used that to get the merch and everything. So yeah, so that's something that you need to take into consideration. Now, questions. So Brittany says, I like your book covers. Thank you very much. Carell is the name of my book cover designer. She is amazing. So she's the one to thank for the amazing covers. And then Brittany says, what is your website for your books? So Brittany, do you mean my backlist titles? So my website is linked in the description of this video. So if you click the link that says to read the first chapter of the book, you should be able, that will take you to my website. It's basically joanembola.co.uk. That is my website, joanembola.co.uk. And I've got my books on there as well. So I've got the ebooks there. If you want to buy direct from me, you can get the ebook also from the website, from my website directly. If you don't want to get from Amazon, Apple Books, and things like that, you can also get the ebooks directly from me. Or if you want, I also have signed paperbacks as well on my website. Obviously, I usually do that for UK only readers. But I mean, if you really want signed copies and you don't mind paying for shipping, you can always let me know. But my books are also available on a wide range of platforms. So Amazon, Apple Books, Kobo, all of this, and also the online libraries as well, the digital libraries like Hoopla. What's the name of the other digital libraries? Basically, loads of other digital libraries. My books are available there as well. Nah says she's put the congratulations. Thank you so much. Yay, thank you. Congratulations, super exciting time. Thank you very much. So, guys, I'm just going to wait to see if anybody else has any questions. you can let me know if you have any more questions about the Kickstarter. And then we are going to, and if you don't have any more questions, then we are going to wrap up the live stream. But you are more than happy, I'm more than happy for you to contact me either on socials, or you can email me at info@joanandbola.co.uk. You can send me an email if you have any questions about Kickstarter. You can also message me on Kickstarter as well. I think if you're not sure about anything, you can also message me on Kickstarter as well. So yeah, I'm gonna wait around for a little bit and see if anybody has any questions. If not, we are going to round up the live stream and then we will hope for the best. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about the stretch goals and to see, how many of those we're able to unlock. And yeah, and just to see how far we can take the story and how much we can push the story to new people. I'm very, very, very excited about that. So if there aren't any questions, then I'm going to, let's see. So I'm going to remove that. I'm just going to say thank you guys so very much for joining the live stream and for engaging and just, asking questions. I hope I answered all your questions. And yeah, I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. And like I said, please don't hesitate to send me a message if you do have any questions about the Kickstarter. And Iana says, super appreciated. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you guys so much. And yeah, we will speak soon. Take care and God bless you. Bye. Oh, don't forget to share. Please share the link, the Kickstarter with others if you feel that they would also be blessed by the story. If it sounds like something that they would be blessed by, or like I said, if you think it would be a good story for somebody else, don't forget to share the link. We've got until the 31st of July, so we've got a long time, but obviously the sooner you pledge, the better, because then it will help the campaign to pick up speed and momentum, which is always a good thing. So thank you very much. And yeah, thank you for anyone who's going to pledge, and God bless you. Thank you, Brittany. Thanks for joining. I hope you have a wonderful day and God bless you. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.